Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm Bob Walters. This is Locked Up Sports. We got a good one for you here today, a special episode. There's not many moments around here in this show that I have to pinch myself. This was one of them. Our interview with National Sportscaster of the Year, Sean McDonough, and he's the lead NHL announcer for ESPN and ABC. He's done World Series. He's got some of the most iconic calls in baseball history. He does the college football playoff, the national championship game he just did this year. Listen, it's simply put, one of the biggest names in sports broadcasting, and he's right here on our show today. We just finished our interview with him, and he tells some great stories. He's a great guy, and it's just I can't thank him enough. It was a great time, and I hope you guys enjoy it, listening to it and watching it as much as we enjoyed actually talking with him. So, without further ado, let's get right to it. Sean McDonough, the 2025 Sportscaster of the Year, right here on Locked Up Sports. We'll see you on the other side, everybody. Enjoy it. Today, we're joined by one of the most respected and one of the most versatile and definitely one of the most recognizable voices in all of sports. He's called everything from the World Series to NHL Finals to the Big East tournament, which we just finished up here, and you name it, he's called it. Sean McDonough. Sean, he's now currently the NHL lead broadcaster for ESPN and ABC. Sean, thanks for giving us a couple minutes here. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on,
my
Sean.
pleasure. Hey, Bob, Brett, good to see you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, it's an honor for us. You're probably our biggest guest now, right? Right, Brad? He's definitely our biggest guest at this point.
Of course. Come on now. You know why? Because we got from each sport, you got everything covered. The guy who covers all the sports is the guy that we're looking for.
Now he's the current 2025 Sportscaster of the Year. I know that meant a lot to you. I know we all saw the clip online of them kind of tricking you in the pre-broadcast meeting and everything. Explain to us what that means to you and how it came about, and were you surprised to get it, or what about that?
Yeah, I was surprised. As you said, the video, I think, was seen by over 1 million people. So everybody knows what a softie I am. They did a nice job of surprising me. I knew I was one of the 10 finalists, but, when the finalists are people like Charles Barkley and Kirk Herbstreit and Mike Tirico and whoever else, it's not that I'm not trying to be self-deprecating, but I thought, just nice to be included with that group of 10. So, the fact that I won was really emotional because it kind of feels like a validation, a little bit of my career. I mean, I'm 63, as you said, Bob. I've been doing this for a long time, done a lot of stuff. Always felt like, I worked hard at my job and had the respect of my peers. But when they actually vote for you to receive this thing, it really was, as you saw in the video, very meaningful. So, very grateful, feel very blessed.
Yeah, I say the same thing. Like, I work in jail, obviously, and then I don't, people don't know what we do in there. So a lot of times I just say, as long as my partner and whoever they're working there with, as long as they respect me and they trust me as their partner to do the right thing, if something, if it all kind of hits the fan, that's all I really need. That's all I really want is that, and then the respect of your peers, and it means the world to you, right?
It really does. For years, the most meaningful messages I would get were text messages when I would do a game, and Marv Albert, I remember when I started doing the hockey, and Marv Albert sent me a text, "Your hockey is terrific. You should be very proud." Vern Lundquist and Mike Breen and people like that, Reese Davis. Over the years, when you get a lot of nice text messages from your peers, that means more than anything, because I have so much respect for those guys I mentioned, a lot of other people who I've heard from over the years, and I think they know what goes into doing it and hopefully doing it well. So the fact that it was the people who work in our business who made this choice, it really definitely did make it more meaningful.
And this must have been, this couldn't have even been on your radar, one of even your wildest dreams when you started as a broadcaster. So, what were your goals when you first started, and have you exceeded them, or anything you're still trying to pursue? Because it's been a long road, and that's a pretty monumentous, achievement.
Well, I appreciate that. This. Obviously, when you start out, to answer your question, Brett, when I first knew when I wanted to be a sportscaster, and I was probably 5 or 6 years old, following my dad around, who was a sports writer for the Boston Globe, I hope someday maybe I'd be the voice of the Red Sox. I used to sit in the radio booth for the Red Sox broadcasters in spring training, and I was 5 or 6. I'd watch them do their thing, and I remember thinking, wow, that's pretty cool. That looks like fun. Shortly thereafter, I had a little tape recorder, and I'd be, announcing games in the tape recorder on the living room floor in our house. So, I went to Syracuse knowing that I wanted to do this, and went there really because Marv Albert went there and Bob Costas went there before me and Dick Stockton. And then you kind of hope the goal is, well, maybe someday I'll be mentioned on that list. When they list the great sports broadcasters who came out of Syracuse, just to be mentioned in that group would be awesome. So this has exceeded my wildest dreams. I mean, you have the list of the things that I've done there. And, you know, to say that, it hasn't exceeded my dreams would be obviously a lie. I mean, to have a chance to do the World Series on national TV and do the Stanley Cup Final on national TV, and then all those other things. I've done all 4 major championship golf tournaments, and I love golf, so that's the real thrill. The NCAA tournaments, a lot of other stuff. So, the greatest college football bowl games. So I've been really, really blessed. God's been good to me, and I'm grateful to Him for it.
Did you when you were dreaming about it? Did you include the floor to ceiling windows behind you with the pillars and everything that you were gonna have too?
Yeah, it's a nice little spot here.
Yeah.
Downtown Boston. It's that's another thing, right? When you do this long enough and you reach a certain point, it's a nice way to make a living.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really grateful to you guys for what you do, by the way, because it's way more meaningful. And so, as I said, I wake up every day, I really do, and say, thank you, Lord, for this life that you've given me, for all the blessings that I have, to be able to do what I always wanted to do. I meet a lot of amazing people along the way, get to work with some incredibly nice people, be in some really exciting places. It's just, it's been way beyond what I ever could have imagined, and really beyond what I deserve. I try to go to Mass every day to express that gratitude. Friends of mine say, why do you go to Mass every day? So I have a lot to ask forgiveness for, so that's that's probably a part of it too.
It's incredible for us too, and for all those people who, listen, we are like working people, and we come out and to on the weekends be able to watch that golf tournament, to watch the World Series. And it's funny when you have someone like yourself on there, it's like you're just part of the game and not its own thing. And we appreciate what you guys do so much because it's such a release for all of us. And it's our time where we forget about everything else.
Well, it's really, I still feel that way, Brett, every time I do a game. It never gets old. I never take it for granted. I remember last year, the first college football playoff game at the highest level of college football, last year was the first year of college football playoff games on college campuses. And our group was fortunate enough to do the first college football playoff game ever on a campus, and it was at Notre Dame. I grew up, Irish Catholic, South Boston, wanted to go to Notre Dame. I always joke, God has a plan for our lives, and my plan was to go to Notre Dame. Unfortunately, Notre Dame's plan did not involve me going to Notre Dame. But even that was, to me, God had a hand in that because Syracuse was clearly the best place for me, as awesome as Notre Dame is. But, I was just sitting at Notre Dame Stadium, standing in the booth, looking around on this beautiful, clear winter night, thinking, this is so cool. And I was pretty deep into my career then, but, I have those experiences over and over again. That's part of the great part of it. Last year, here in Boston, about a year ago, a little more than that now, we had the championship game of the Four Nations Face-Off. I mean, no one ever heard of the Four Nations Face-Off a year before that, and it became this huge hit that caught on with non-hockey fans in addition to the hockey crowd. So, I remember being at the championship game of that thinking, wow, this is really cool. So I continue, every time I walk into one of these venues and events, I am reminded of how blessed I am, and most of the time I look around like, wow, look at this. This is awesome.
Yeah, it is. And now you've called, that leads me into my next question, because you've called, monumental moments, and we'll get into down the road, just the Francisco Cabrera, the Joe Carter, stuff like that. And what call that you had that when you hear it played back now, it still kind of gives you chills, and it's still kind of like, wow, I can't believe that's me.
Well, thank you for that. The Francisco Cabrera one sticks out probably because it was the first, that was 1992. I was 30 years old. At the time, I hadn't done the World Series yet, but I was about to be the youngest person to do the World Series on national TV. That record didn't last very long because Joe Buck broke it a few years later. But yeah, I was just at the time, you know, Sid Bream scores the winning run. Atlanta was down 2-0 going to the bottom of the ninth. They scored 3 runs, and you know, it was just one of the great baseball games in the history of baseball. It still is. And it was probably the first, at least the first I can remember, of my kind of famous / infamous voice cracks. You know, when he slid across home
There you
players
go.
and he's safe. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I completely botched that. You know, they may not even let me go to the World Series. You know, that's the biggest play I'm ever going to call, and I completely botched it. And then, you know, people running up to me when I got down to the TV compound after the game and hugging me like, oh my God, that was amazing. You perfectly captured the moment, and you know that call's going to be played forever. And you know, I thought, okay, maybe I didn't screw it up. So, and it kind of goes to the point, right, Bob, about the whatever those big moments are when you're just lucky enough to be there.
Yeah,
You
of
know, a lot of
course.
it's just right place, right time, right? Like a lot of life. But you either you nail it or you don't, right? I mean, the fun part of it is you don't get to do it again, right? It's oops, I
Why do
kind
you
of screwed
why
that
do you
up.
think you get away
What do you
with
think?
the what? Because most people don't. Like, why do you get away with the voice cracks? Do you think? Do you think?
I don't know. Maybe because I'm the only one who does it, you know. And I think now I hope it's because it kind of punctuates. Wow, that's a big moment. You know, it's kind of become the narrative. Well, it must have been a big moment if McDonough's voice cracked when he was calling it. So, um, you know, people ask me if I do it on purpose,
No, you can't
which
do it on purpose.
I can't do it on purpose.
Again,
And
and
when
do
it
you and
happens,
even
that's when and in my own mind, I know, like, wow, this really must be a big moment because my
You
voice
probably
cracked.
hate it. Do
So
you hate it?
yeah, because it's your
at the
brain going
beginning, I
to a
was
different
super
level. Yeah.
embarrassed, right?
Yeah.
And then I have people tell me, like the Michigan State, the punt play at the end of the game 10 years ago when all Michigan had to do was
Yep.
get the punt off, they win the game. Michigan State didn't even have anybody back for the punt. And then they botched. He has trouble with the
Yeah.
snap,
Well,
and
the
the
Chiefs
ball is
Titans. You
free.
had a good one
That's
on the
the
Chiefs
one.
Titans too.
That's the
Yeah.
one.
Oh, that was
The
well.
Chiefs
That one I
Titans.
had movies for. The Chiefs Titans um, was a playoff game, and in the NFL, obviously. And I was really sick when we got to Kansas City, and had almost no voice, and wasn't even sure I could do the game.
Wow.
And I went to see. As soon as I got to Kansas City, I went to see the Chiefs doctors, and they were fantastic. And they basically said, "We don't know we don't know if it's allergies, viral, whatever. You know, all the different possibilities. It could be anything. So we're going to send you to the drugstore across the street from your hotel with a prescription for everything, and you're going to take every nasal spray and throat drop and penicillin, whatever. You know,
And we're gonna bill
so,
ESPN $2,000, right?
yeah, yeah, basically, and exactly. And they said, you know, basically, don't talk between now and the game. So it really kind of sucks because you know, you live your whole life to do NFL playoff games, and I only did a couple because I only did the NFL for 2 years with ESPN and ABC. So I was consciously thinking during the game when big plays happen, well, can I punch? You know, can I get as excited as I should be? Because I'm a little afraid if I do, I'm gonna not the voice crack, but just kind of like sound hoarse and sick.
Can't help it though.
And you can't help it, right? So that play was so wild that I just didn't think about voice conservation or what my voice is going to sound like. I just started yelling. And I remember John Gruden looking at me like, "Are you okay?" So
Yeah,
that was
John Gruden's a character in
of all of
himself.
them, that was the one I still find a little embarrassing when I hear it back because it was so off the hook. The other ones, I kind of find some amusement to it. It's kind of become something people associate with me, and as I said, I hope it helps people remember the game. You know, the Athletic wrote a great article this year about the 10-year anniversary of that Michigan State game, and you know, it was kind of they talked to a lot of different people. It was just basically quotes. And I think it was Mark D'Antonio, the Michigan State coach, who said it was an exciting play and people would remember it. But what really made it memorable and why people remember it is Sean McDonough's call. And so,
It's what makes
you know,
it.
that's nice, right? When people say that, like this moment we kind of
Well,
remember
you're
it
attached to these
And how
moments.
much
because of you.
and how much yeah, and how much of it are you trying to almost not screw up the culture? You don't want to be the one person known for, right? You want it to kind of do its own thing. So much is do you prepare it all or is it 100% spontaneous?
Yeah, it's 100% spontaneous, right? Because there's no way you could anticipate something like that. It's going to
No,
come down the
no.
last play, and then they're going to botch a
Nope.
punt, and then ball's going to hop up in the air, and a guy named
No.
Jalen Watts Jackson's going to catch it out of
Yeah,
midair,
yeah.
run it real time, like, oh my God, this,
Yeah.
it in when Sid Bream is rounding third in Game 7 of the National League Championship series is coming down to a play at the plate that was
Yeah.
this close. As it's happening. When Joe Carter's fly ball is going over the left field wall to
You
win
know
the
it's
World Series,
coming.
okay, this is a big moment. So I don't think I ever consciously think don't screw it up. I do think, if anything, it just makes you concentrate that much harder on every word that you say, because
Yeah.
that those words are going to be replayed for decades. So, the Jalen Watts Jackson thing, what was really reassuring to me, the Michigan State play, was my spotter was so emphatic, pointing at my spotting chart at Jalen Watts Jackson. And it's in a moment like that, you really want to make sure you have the right guy, because
Yeah.
in some of these booths you're in, you're far away. In a football game, these players
Yeah.
might have mud on them or something. It's hard to see the number. In college football, they have double numbers.
Yes.
Which I'd like to shoot whoever
Yeah.
whoever
How
was
how
responsible for
often
that.
does
But then
the
I'd be with
Well-
you, Bob. I'd have
well,
to spend time with you.
Yeah. That's kind
You
of
wouldn't
my
make
next
it. You wouldn't make
question.
it 5 minutes.
No, I'm sure I would.
What are your? How about any close calls or things that surprise you, where you almost said, "Oh, this," and "Oh, that," like in your calls, or are you just?
He's a man of
have you
God,
ever
Brett. He
had-
doesn't
there's
curse.
times.
I know that.
What-
Hey, listen. Maybe as a young man.
Yeah, I mean, there are times, I've accidentally cursed on the air, not, cursing. I've transposed a word. I meant to say
Right.
he was one hit shy of 2,300 for Scranton. I said he was one
Yeah, right.
high of 2,300. So,
Can't fault me for that.
yeah, stuff like that happens. But I've been really lucky. Now we're going to jinx it, right? Because
Yeah.
I feel very comfortable.
I almost hope so. I'm almost rooting for it now. If
Now it's
we
on.
can say we hope
I
it.
feel really good that in most of these moments, I've done at least an adequate job, if not hopefully better than that. But yeah, just so now when I screw one of these up, Brett, I'm
I
going to call you
apologize in
up and
advance.
say,
Yeah.
thanks a lot.
Apologize in advance.
Knocked
Oh,
it into existence.
So now, after you got let go by the Red Sox originally, now you're back with them now, I guess, right? You still do the Red
Yes.
Sox. So you got let go originally, and you had said that it was because of your candor. You thought you were too honest. What do you think you were too honest about on air that
Well,
made them go in a
sometimes
different
when
direction?
the team wasn't playing very well. If the manager did some things that we didn't agree with,
Okay.
we weren't afraid to say so.
Which is
I think it
ridiculous.
was a combination of a lot of things. For years I had been paid by the Red Sox had basically two television components. They had Nesson, which
Yep.
was their pay cable, and they had over-the-air TV. The Yankees had that for years. Like
Everybody did.
WPIX.
WWOR
Yeah,
for the Mets.
Had what was it, Mets
WWOR and then PIX.
Right, and then the cables came along, and then it was kind of an even split, and then it became more and more and more on the cable, and that's what happened here in Boston. So I was doing the over-the-air games, so gradually that number went down, and then Nesson actually started providing the production for the over-the-air TV, and the over-the-air TV provider at the time, I think it was WBZ here in Boston, Channel 4, they basically just contracted Nesson, said, you already produce all the games, so produce them for us. We'll just put them on our air. So they had to start paying me, and Nesson is kind of notoriously cheap, and they thought it was overpaid, and that's fine. That's their right. Again, we talked about God's plan, right? It worked out really well for me. My last year was the first year the Red Sox won the World Series in 86 years, so that was a good time to go. Right after that happened, ESPN had wanted me to do more there for years, and I had been reluctant to do so because I didn't want to leave the Red Sox. So I started doing more events for ESPN. We talked about a few minutes ago. One of the things I did a few years later was the British Open, the Open Championship at St. Andrews. The first one I did, I think it was 2010, was, you're sitting there in the tower looking at the first golf course in the history of golf in this beautiful town in the background in Scotland. And I'm thinking, if I was still doing the Red Sox games, I wouldn't be sitting here. And I was thrilled to be there. So grateful to have had the opportunity to have done the Red Sox starting out. Grateful to be back doing like 20 radio games for them now and reconnect with them. We are, it was never really on bad terms. It was just, It was the right thing. It turned out to be the right thing. So,
Baseball's better on the radio anyway.
yeah, I agree with that. I love doing it on the
Oh, yeah.
radio. It's different now with the pitch clock.
Yeah, a little bit. You have a
Used to
little.
you could tell
Oh, I see
stories,
that. Of
bust
course.
your partner, but now it's the pitches are every 15 seconds, whatever, and we have a lot of drop-ins on these Red Sox games. So it's like here's the pitch ball won by a Toyota. Here's the pitch ball.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, that's a lot.
Now, as a national broadcaster, give me the perspective of a national broadcaster. Does it annoy? Because it annoys the hell out of me. Does it annoy you that people hate the national broadcasters? Like the hatred for Joe Buck, it's because they want their homer guy
That's insane,
and everything
right?
like that.
Yeah, well, I understand they like their own guys, right? And we run into this in hockey. If I were a Ranger fan, a Washington Capital fan, I would like my guys better, right? I watch them every night. I'm comfortable with them. I like them. They like my team. I think it's one of the reasons I don't do social media is I just don't care to read it or even know about it. But the notion that we care about who wins or loses, Joe gets that.
Yeah.
I've certainly got it. He's cheering against our
That's
team.
the worst. It's the worst.
I could get
I know.
You want a tight
I
game,
really
right? You
could.
want a close game. Set the record straight.
Yeah,
You
and
want a
it
close
started
game.
with the New York Ranger people, and I've talked about this before. Like, if there's one team I would want to win, it's the New York Rangers.
I know.
Right.
It's Madison Square Garden, and it's going to be the
Better
highest
ratings.
that we get. It's New York.
Yes.
If they're in the Stanley Cup final, it's huge. And for me, it's a very short trip. It's Madison Square Garden. It's awesome. So, I mean, this whole notion like he doesn't want the Rangers to win. David Quinn and Mike Sullivan are two really good friends of mine. Quinny might be the closest friend I have. If he's not, he's tied for it. I still think he got a screw job there when he was the head coach of the Rangers. But it shows the kind of guy he is that he went back to be an assistant coach. And Sully's awesome. And so, I mean, I mentioned Zach Patrozone, I don't know if I mentioned my spotter, who is Jalen Watts Jackson, right? So he's on Twitter. When we were coming back from every now and then, if we can fly back on a Saturday night, I'll say to him, all right, Zach, we're sitting on the plane. Read me one or two of the funniest ones, like the meanest ones. Because, some of them are pretty funny. So he starts laughing. And I said, why are you laughing? I think we had done Florida State at Clemson that day. And he said, I'm going to read you like 6 in a row. And I'm not editing anything. He said, this one is Sean McDonough is blatantly cheering for Florida State. The next one is, why is Sean McDonough rooting for Clemson? Sean McDonough hates Florida State. Sean McDonough can't stand Clemson. What does he have against Clemson? It was like one after the other, and they were exact opposite.
That means you're doing a good job, though, because that means both sides hate equally.
Right.
You're equally pissing everybody off. That's exactly what you're here for. See, that's perfect.
I honestly don't care who wins. I don't. I want an exciting game, right? That's what we want. Close.
See, like I think you root against the Mets, but that's because you turned them down. You had a chance to take the booth, you turned them down. I'm like, he doesn't like the Mets.
Decisions of my life.
Yeah,
it really was, and I still wonder sometimes if I did the right thing. No, that was it was a very hard decision. As I mentioned, I could kind of feel the end was coming here with the Red Sox. The Wilpons and the people who ran their television at the time could not have been nicer, more encouraging, more flattering. It was an unbelievable offer. They made it clear they really wanted me to come do it. And I thought long and hard about it. My dad was in the hospital at the time. We didn't know what was wrong with him. I wasn't really sure I was ready to leave Boston. I was still hoping that situation was going to get salvaged. But, I think I told them on a Friday I was probably going to come, but could I think about it over the weekend? And then over the weekend, I didn't go. But, it had nothing to do with disliking the Mets.
No,
I would have liked it more if Citi Field was already there. That was back in the Shea Stadium
Now,
days.
I know you probably
that would have been rough.
You probably ran
Citi
into
Field's a beautiful place.
You probably ran into Gary Cohen a bunch of times at the Garden because he does the Seton Hall games.
Yeah, think of all
Did he buy you dinner? Did he buy you dinner yet or what?
Gary Cohen owes me his life.
You're damn right he does.
See? and as much as we're like Gary's pretty good, and we got to see everywhere else too. So I
Gary's
think
awesome.
good.
He's great. He's great.
God's plan, right? Worked out great for me. Worked
Very
out
much
great.
so.
You know, what worked out great for in the interim, and he still thanks me about it. Is I don't know if you guys remember this, but Dave O'Brien wound up
Yeah.
taking it.
He did the
When I
Giants out
didn't
west,
take it.
right? Or he
And
does.
he thanked me a lot because he said that
That's
gig
good.
paid a lot of money. And I was like, no crap, Dave. Why do you think it was one of the reasons I was really interested in doing
Yeah.
it? And when I said no, I thought I must be crazy that I just turned down that deal.
He does
But,
college basketball for ESPN still, right?
Yeah, he was on the
Just
ACC
today.
championship
Yeah, I was
game.
gonna say. I think I heard him today.
Yep.
Yeah, he was on with Dickie V and Corey Alexander on the ACC.
Yeah,
Dave's
yeah.
a great guy, great broadcast. He's here in Boston now with the Red Sox. He does Red Sox TV.
Do you miss doing like the Big East, the tournaments?
Yes, it's a great question. The old Big East in Madison Square Garden was the best. You know, the whole week, but particularly walking in there
That's
Saturday
fun.
night for the championship game, knowing you're going to see an awesome game. You know, we were talking earlier about the greatest games that I've been fortunate enough to call. That 6 overtime game in the tournament, Big East tournament between Syracuse and UConn was
So good.
one of the greatest sporting. I've seen a billion sporting events in my life, and that was one of the all-time best. I mean,
McNamara's runner in like the fourth overtime or something, right?
Yeah, well, I don't think that wasn't.
That was in regulation.
Game.
It wasn't that game.
No, that wasn't the same game. I think it was the 6 overtime game. Eric Devendorf.
Oh, Devendorf. Okay.
Hit a shot at the buzzer at regulation, almost from half court, and he jumped up on the scores table right in front of us.
Yeah.
And then they took a long look at it, and there was a great replay. You could just see the ball. You saw the shot clock, and you saw his hand. You could just see the ball was barely still on his fingertip. So they waved it off, and then they played 6 overtimes.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite times of the year. I love
The
it.
amazing thing about that game was I think it got over at like 1:22 in the morning because it was the second game of the doubleheader.
I was going to say, second session.
And the Syracuse was never ahead in any of the first 5 overtimes, right? They're 5 minutes each. So they played 25 minutes of game action. They were never ahead for even 1 second by 1 point. They were either behind or tie, behind or tie, behind or tie. They kept making it to the next overtime. And then finally in the 6th overtime, they took a lead and won the game, obviously. So, yeah, that was amazing. The old Big East tournament. I wish that the old Big East never broke up. You know.
But what are you going to do? You can't do it. It's a football conference. They went to football with the money.
Yeah, and the ACC is a fine conference, and I really like the people, Jim Phillips, who runs it, and Amy Yacola, and all the others. But it's just not the same. I go to a basketball game up in the Dome now. Syracuse Wake Forest is not Syracuse St. John's or even Syracuse Providence or Seton Hall or
especially now with St. John's coming back to where they are.
It was the best college basketball league, to me ever. It was certainly the best college basketball league at that time, which is why I think the ACC, kind of worked to break it up because they liked the fact that for many, many years they had the reputation for being the best college basketball league.
Yeah, but did they? Because in the 80s, it was Big East.
Before the Big East, the Big East only came into being around 1980, I think. So
yeah, somewhere around there. But with Ewing and Mullins and Mullins and all them.
Yeah, back in those days, it didn't take long for the Big East to, I think, at least make the argument we're better or we're at least as good. But I think at that time, when was it? 15 years ago now, time flies, when the ACC brought in Syracuse, Pitt, Louisville,
that's right. West Virginia.
They were trying to, reestablish themselves as the best basketball league and make their football better too. So, and I give, they did exactly the right thing.
But you're right.
It was sad. They had that great 30 for 30 documentary that you saw about.
I did see it.
The history of the Big East. Remember the first time I watched it, I texted Coach Boeheim and I said, I'm watching this and I'm laughing and I'm crying and I'm getting mad. And he said, yeah, me too. All the same things. Because,
it was great. We were a little young. I'm born 81. So for that, Ewing is a Nick as far as I'm concerned. I don't remember him, Georgetown and that. But even when I was growing up, you had Iverson and you had, just great players coming through, and you had the Kemba Walker run.
Jerry McNamara.
Yeah, Jerry McNamara.
Oh, wow.
Carmelo Anthony.
Ron Artest.
Yeah.
Meta World Peace.
I
People
mean,
like that.
Carmelo Anthony is a freshman just taking them and winning the title.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
things like that where you look and you go, these conferences fall apart really fast from mismanagement and whatever issues go on. But
No, it's just
It's all
football
about the
brings the money.
Benjamins, right?
Yeah, it's all about the money. Exactly.
Yep.
Now,
And it
you had
still
mentioned
is, and it's always going to be. I mean, that's always going to be
You're right, it's
the
always, no
driving
matter what.
factor in all of this.
You had mentioned your father. For people who don't know, Will McDonough was Sean's father. He did. He's a great Boston Globe writer, right?
Boston Globe.
Boston Globe writer. He did TV. I remember him as NFL. He wore the old the golf hat, kind of with like the Payne Stewart hat,
The
right?
Scally cap.
Yeah. Now he was good friends with Bill Parcells. They were very
Very good.
tight. Very tight. He gave him he leaked some stuff to him to help your father out and then stuff. Do you did you like tell us a little bit about Bill Parcells? Was he around your family at all when you were growing up? Do you know Bill? Are you friendly with Bill?
I do. I don't keep in regular touch with him, but he and my dad were really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good friends. Bill was one of the most emotional people when my dad died in 2003. So yeah, they just became instant pals. I remember one time when Bill was here in New England as the coach of the Patriots. The three of us all got invited to play in a charity golf tournament down in Connecticut in the summer. So we drove down together, and just listening to my father and Bill's conversation for 3 hours was hilarious because they argued about things, and but they were the best of pals. And I have the utmost respect for Coach Parcells.
Yeah, and he's just as intense off the field as he is on the field.
Oh yeah, I mean they were both big baseball fans. I think what a lot of people might not know about Bill Parcells is a huge baseball fan. So literally they would be saying like, okay, the 1958 Detroit Tigers, and then they'd try to name all the starters, and they'd go around each position, and then they'd be like, no, he wasn't on the team that year. He was never a Detroit Tiger. And this is before like Google, right? So it's, hey, Sean, call the Boston Globe sports department and tell them the baseball encyclopedia and find out, if Al Kaline was on the team yet or whatever it was, So it was, they were great pals.
It shows you so many people just like us are just absolute sports junkies as kids in every way, and
Yeah,
even
they
when
both
they get
were,
older, that's how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. Coach Parcells is a sports fan beyond just football, obviously, and my dad was too.
Yeah, and people always ask me, they're like, oh, do you pay these guys? Come on. I'm like, pay them with what money? I'm like, you think I'm paying them? I go, no. I go, they're just regular people like me and you. They like to talk sports. They'll go on and talk sports with somebody for 20 minutes, half hour,
Right.
It's what it is. But
my dad used to say it's the easiest thing in the world to be nice, right? It takes energy to be a jerk.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you were nice enough to ask me to come on, and I've had shows like this. I had a radio show here. I wouldn't like it if somebody said no to me unless they had a really good reason.
Yeah, there are some people who say no, we don't hear from them, but it is what it is. Like,
Well,
if you could give us a couple minutes, we do it because we love it. We don't even get paid for this. I got a $700, roadcaster thing here that I paid for my own money. We put together. I put my time in. I have to work in 16 hours, but I do it because I love it. Me and Brett, we were saying last year we got invited down to spring training for the Mets. That's better than any money that they could pay us.
That's all we want, right? That's it.
100%. Those are the experiences in life you remember.
Yeah, exactly. Now in '92,
what do people do? It's a good point you raised. What do people do who don't like sports?
I don't know.
What do they do with their time?
What do you say at the bar? Because if you know current events in sports, you can talk to anyone at the bar.
And it's even odder when they dislike it. Like, is there to dislike about it? Where someone says,
I have no idea.
Maybe it's not your thing.
Go to a Super Bowl party, you'll find out.
I could not imagine what my life would have been like to this point. It would be like going forward if I wasn't interested.
Yeah, what do they do?
Passionate about sports.
I'm a Mets and Jets fan. I haven't had any enjoyment.
It's rough.
Sports, and I could not imagine my life without it. So, and you know what? And that's why I say some of my greatest moments I've watched are people like yourself calling these calls that have nothing to do with teams that are even my team. I just like to see the greatest of the great happen, and that includes the calls. And
we know, calls are a big part of it.
There's a reason why they keep bringing you back. It's because those calls resonate with us, and we appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate that. And it's the fun part of it, right? And to your point, like I've been watching as we're speaking the last several days, all these conference college basketball tournaments, and you turn it on, and it's who would I watch last night because I couldn't sleep? Cal Baptist in Utah Valley, right? It was on in the middle of the night.
You never watch
And,
that game, but it means so much.
I didn't even know. I never even heard of Cal Baptist.
No.
I didn't
No
know there was a
more
California
important
Baptist.
sporting event on the globe at that moment.
Yeah, and the kid hits a shot, and I don't know if you saw it. The Utah Valley had
Oh, he
a
just
dunk
missed.
at the
Just
buzzer
missed.
that would have tied it,
Yes.
and it he
Back
hit
of the iron,
it.
right? Back of the iron
Yeah.
straight. Oh, it was
Yeah,
so
right.
close.
That's going to be the rest of his life.
Well, how
It's
about
gonna
Butler?
happen.
Butler did that in the
Their whole
championship
life,
game.
and they'll never get that opportunity.
Butler
But
did that against Duke in the championship
I had
game.
no interest in it, and I was captivated. And there were a lot of other of these games this past week where I have no connection to the teams. I don't know the coaches, players, whatever.
No.
But you start watching it, and it's just such great athletic competition and drama and pressure and
Yeah.
that's
Oh, those
what
little
makes it
That's what we
conferences.
great.
love.
The little conferences are the best part of Champ Week because it's a one team conference, right? And you know that this team could be 30 and 1-2. Like Miami of Ohio. They were on the cusp of, they weren't sure about an hour ago if they were
They
getting
were
in
the
or not.
last team in.
Yeah,
according
and
to
they were undefeated
Reese
up until
Davis,
3
who
days
I'm
ago. They were
sure-
undefeated.
Yeah, and they lost one game the whole year, and they were the last team to make it.
The last team to make it
Incredible.
in. They had no quad one wins though. So I mean, but still, imagine going 31-1 and you miss the tournament. I mean,
think
come
they
on.
should get in.
I do
Jake
too.
Billis, who I love, who's a dear friend of mine who I worked with for years and years and years with Bill Raftery in a 3-man booth on the old Big East games.
Yeah.
And he said, well, Auburn didn't get in. And he said, oh, who's better, Auburn or Miami of Ohio? Well, Auburn's probably better, right? But they lost 16 games. Now, admittedly, they're
There you
a much better
go.
conference. And Miami, Ohio went 31-1 or whatever they were. I'd give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, the little conferences are so much better because the
And you
tournament
gotta
know how to
starts.
win.
teams in. That's the whole thing of the tournament or a big part of it is the underdog, the Cinderella.
Oh yeah,
the
we all
big
remember
upset.
Bryce Drew. We all remember Bryce Drew diving headfirst into and sliding across gears.
Yes.
That his father, the coach, and we all remember little things like that. That's what makes the tournament. Now, I've been I've been filling out brackets forever. Still yet to this day, since I'm probably in like middle school, have never won a bracket challenge. Usually by Sunday of the first weekend, my brackets are just a list of teams that have lost. And I watch the games, and like my wife's like, there's 3 people left in our pool, and she's like, I'm still in it. I'm like, oh, come on. One time I made it to the final game, and it was against my father in the whatever pool I was in with school or whatever, and he beat me, and I lost. And that's the only chance. I fill these damn things out, and I'm filling one out right now, and I'm going to fill 10 of them out tomorrow, and I'll never win. I can never win. It's so unpredictable. That's what makes it so great.
Yeah, it's fun. It's and the football tournament tried to emulate that a little bit by bringing the group of 5 in. Like this year was James Madison and Tulane, but I think it's harder in football to pull off the big upset. Basketball, you can hit the 3-pointers, and the other team doesn't play their best.
Is that just the Notre Dame fan in you? Like it is me saying that right now because
No, you didn't.
I
watch
mean,
Miami make their run.
Well, Notre Dame was clearly a better team than Tulane or James Madison, but I understand
You lost.
Giving the group of 5 a chance. I like it. Maybe expand the tournament to the college football playoff to 16. I think that would be more than enough. The Big Ten people are talking about 24. I think it's absurd. But
no.
Yeah, but I think 16 might be. I was always a proponent for 8. I always thought 8 would be enough, but now I can understand 16. But yeah, Notre Dame, it's too bad because the thing to me about that was like this year, the first year, last year when they went to 12, the teams that make it to me, I didn't have much. Sorry, Alabama, you lost to 2 crappy 6 and 6 teams.
I was sick. Yeah,
Right.
sick of Alabama.
Ole Miss, sorry. Miami, all you had to do was go up to Syracuse and win the last game of the year. You were up 21-0. You blew the game. But this year, Notre Dame they were good enough to win the whole thing if they got in.
Yes.
Texas, good enough
They're
to
the
win
best
the whole
Notre Dame
thing.
team I've seen in a long time.
Oh, stop it.
Vanderbilt, really, really good team. Vanderbilt could have won games if they got in. So, so this year, I think 16 would have been great because, those teams that got left out actually, as I said, I think Notre Dame and Texas for sure could have won the whole thing, and Vanderbilt could have won a game or 2.
Now,
Maybe
Brett, don't be coming at me with Sean McDonough said that Notre Dame belonged in. All right, don't be coming at me with that because I still believe they didn't belong.
I think they were a better team than Alabama at the end of the year.
Fair enough.
I think Alabama had the better resume over the total season because they stocked up some wins at the beginning and the middle, but at the end, Alabama wasn't playing great, and Notre Dame was, and
And you could have set up a Notre Dame Miami rematch. That's what we
yep,
needed, right? That's
maybe.
what would have set
That's
us
what
up.
America
Right.
needed. That's what America
It would
needed.
have never.
And then the
Absolutely.
pick of Miami got validated when they went to the national
Yes.
championship game.
Good for
Almost
them.
won it. So,
Almost won it. Almost won it. It took
Yeah.
a Herculean effort for that guy, for that quarterback to go, drive them down the field and score the winning touchdown and get the fourth down on the way he dove head first. I mean, listen, and it was Indiana, and it wasn't basketball, so that made it good too. It wasn't SEC, wasn't Alabama or Ohio State, Big Ten. It was Big Ten, but it was Indiana, and I loved it.
Yeah, well, that's a product of NIL, right? The transfer portal. You can get better really fast if you have the money to spend and you spend it on the right people, which Indiana
absolutely.
has done. So
I wanted to ask you quickly before we let you go. With the Joe Carter call, right? That's almost a call of a lifetime, right? Yet the call that's attached to that moment is the touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life with Cheeks is his name, Tom Cheeks.
Tom Cheek.
Tom Cheek.
Tom Cheek was the radio voice of the
Blue Jays. How do some moments get attached to moments like that, and others don't?
Well, there's at all these games, there's more than one person broadcasting, right? It's our discussion earlier about the local team announcers. Tom Cheeks was more emotional because he was the voice of the Blue Jays, and so it was okay for him to, sound like he was very happy that they won because he was very happy that they won, and he should have been. And he was a great broadcaster. He passed away several years ago now, but he was a Hall of Fame broadcaster. So, and it was a great call. The Skip Carey, who was the longtime voice of the Braves, he was doing Braves radio the night of the Francisco Cabrera thing, and his call got replayed a lot, particularly.
Yeah, your call was better on that one though.
Well, I appreciate it. I thought my call was fine.
Your call to Joe Carter one was great too.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong.
I'm not. I don't think you're criticizing me. I don't mean to suggest that I am. I agree. More people remember. Matter of fact, I have people say to me, "Wow, when you said touch 'em all, Joe, that was really cool." I was like, "Well, except it wasn't me."
That's the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I don't have time.
It was the call of a lifetime. Thank you. I appreciate that.
If you run into somebody in the airport or something, and they say, "Wow, I've watched you over the years, but that touch 'em all joke, that was probably your best." I was like, "Yeah."
You should be like, "That's my favorite too."
I almost feel like I didn't even say it.
No, Tom Cheek, that was great, and we all live to be, the reason that we do this. You just hope that you hope once in your life you're in that. Like I'm sure for Tom Cheek that was the highlight of his career, and it should have been the
year before. You get a lot of play too, with the first one in north of the border.
Yeah, well, look at you doing your homework.
No, I know this. I love broadcasters. I love it. I know all the calls. I did prepare for this interview a little more than I usually do. I said to Brett, but I know all that stuff already. The stuff that I didn't know was the Parcells thing. I didn't really know that your father was friends with Parcells. But other than that, I know all the calls.
A lot of when my dad died, one of the most amazing things was the phone calls from people like Bill and Al Davis and people like that. It was my dad had a lot of friends.
The most influential people in football.
I think that's why he got all those scoops. Was because he knew everybody or knew a lot of people.
That's a lot of it.
People, and they liked him and they trusted him. That was the most important thing. Because for every scoop that he had, he knew a lot of other stuff that he never wrote because he was asked not to or told not to, and he wouldn't violate anybody's trust. And if you did, then that person's never going to tell you anything again.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So it's he was the Adam Schefter said to me on a couple of occasions, your dad was the person we all try to emulate in this, and if it wasn't for him, none of us would be doing this because he was the first one, and if he didn't succeed at it, then they wouldn't have kept doing it. And Peter King said the same thing to me at my dad's funeral. He said, when I got hired to be on TV, the first person I called was your dad to say thank you, because you were the the pioneer who opened the door to this. So
I mean, people like Bob Ryan, Peter Gammons, right? Those are all people who were friends with your dad.
Globe together, which I think it was probably
That's
the best.
incredible.
Was your dad on the Sports Reporters, the ESPN show?
It's great because we got to see that. That's where we got to see them.
Yeah, the Sports Reporters. Was your dad on that show?
Yeah,
I forget. He was.
Jackie McMullen was on
Yeah.
She's great.
Leslie Visser started out at the Boston
Leslie
Globe.
Visser, yeah.
A
Wow.
lot of them ended up part of the interruption. You'd see a lot of them later on.
Yeah. No, he was on the show with Tony Reale, where he gives the points. Around the horn. Yeah. All right, so
Bob Bryan was on that a ton.
Yeah, he was on all of them a ton. Yeah,
we got to know
him and Woody Page.
We got to know them very well.
Bob's a great guy to have on those things because he's very opinionated, but educatedly so. It's not wild opinions. He has great reasons why he has those opinions, and he's very smart and he's very articulate, and he has an encyclopedia of a mind. You know, like people say to me, like we talked about that UConn-Syracuse game not long ago, and I never remember what year it was. People say, what year was that? I'm not sure. I think it was 2008, but I wouldn't bet my house on it. But some people like Bob Ryan, Bob Costas, Mike Tirico, those guys have photographic memories for every name, date. I always feel inadequate when I'm in a conversation with them because they're
I'm like that too. With all stuff.
None of them were Sportscaster of the Year last year, so that'll tell you. That's for sure.
Exactly.
You know what? When I got when I won the thing, I went back and looked at it because it started in the 1950s, and that made me even more emotional when you see the list of the, who's won it. You guys are too young, but back in the day, like Lindsey Nelson and Kurt Gowdy. Kurt Gowdy was my idol when I was a kid.
Even baseball, baby.
Yeah.
But Bob Costas won it several times. I am reasonably sure that I'm not going to win 2 years in a row, because if Mike Tirico doesn't win for what he just did with the Super Bowl and the Olympics.
Yeah, he was there the next day.
Yeah, what he said after Team USA won the hockey game, like kind of off the cuff, people are still talking about that.
Yeah, and
Mike is super smart and super talented, but to me, nobody else is going to have as good a 2026 as a sportscaster as Mike just did.
Do you get to give him the award? Is
there a microphone? Is it a golden microphone or something?
I don't know. I haven't even gotten mine yet because the banquet is in June.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
So
it's in June, late June in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Okay. Okay. Now, speaking of the Olympics, there's no way. Now, I like the Olympics, but like you see, when the Olympics come on, you see weird people doing weird stuff. Like I remember Al Trotwig always did the cross country skiing, and I was like, did he really know about this stuff? Because it sounds like he does. There's no way you knew too much about bobsled and luge, right?
That's
when you went over
not
there.
True.
Really?
I was incredibly knowledgeable.
You were not.
Look at that.
Listen, the award's already won, all right?
That was 92. Was the first
92. Was that Lillehammer?
In Albertville.
Albertville, okay.
France. And then 94 was in Lillehammer.
Okay.
And I still was doing the bobsled and luge. But to answer your question, when I got assigned it, I went up to Lake Placid, which is where the bobsled and luge teams train and have their trials. And so I went up and met the people, did a bobsled and luge run, which was pretty stupid because I almost died doing the luge thing. It's very scary. And probably shouldn't have. When they asked me if I wanted to do it, I probably should have said no. But it was instructive because I did learn a lot about how not to do the luge, I guess, more than anything else, or how hard it is to do it. So but it was fun. But I enjoy the preparation part of it, Bob. That's to me, it's the fun part, learning about the participants, right? Okay, no one has ever heard of any of these lugers when they watch the Olympics.
Yeah.
But even the figure skating is a big deal in the Olympics.
They still don't know any of the guys.
I hadn't heard of Alyssa Liu or
no.
What was the guy who had the unfortunate?
Yeah, the guy who choked the
guy.
No, nobody ever heard of him.
Ilya Malinin.
With the gymnastics.
Or with the quad god?
He's got a chance to be
Quad god.
Quad god. I'd never heard of him. The speed skater guy from Wisconsin.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he was good. Yeah.
Won all the medals. Never heard of him. Right?
Last one I know is
Apollo.
Apollo.
That's one of the great things about the Olympics. Like you never heard of these people, and then they're on your TV for a week, and then 2 weeks later, like now I can't remember their names.
And we're all experts for those 2 weeks. I'm sitting there yelling at the curling match. I'm like, sweep it.
I'm getting old, and I don't remember as well as I used to. But But it's fascinating, and you get totally caught up on the figure skating. The pressure in that, right? It's 4 minutes or whatever. You spent your whole life. You started figure skating when you were 4 years old.
4 years old, yeah.
You go every day. You have your coaches,
Yep.
the thing, and especially like the ones, the ice dancing and the pairs thing, like
judges.
I might be really good, but if she screws it up or he screws it up, then we're cooked, right? And there's so much pressure in that, and they're so great under that pressure. So it's part of what makes the Olympics
I got
great.
wrapped up in the curling where the team was cheating and they're cursing at each other on air, and that was just this last Olympics.
And you know what?
I was like, look at this.
I think any sport that you could probably have a beer while you were doing it is that's also a good sport, right? It's like one of the reasons I like golf. It's or bowling. I think it's one of the reasons bowling. I think half the people who bowl like bowling, and half the people like I can have a beer while I'm bowling.
Yeah,
exactly.
It looks so easy. It looks so damn easy. Just knock these damn pins down straight on.
It
No, it's not at all. My daughter, my 2-year-old daughter, I went with the other day. Yeah, she rolled it off that thing that went down, but she beat me.
So let me ask you this, because I've watched a little bit of the curling, not a lot. But when they start doing the broom thing, are they trying to make the little stone, I think it's called, go faster or slow it down?
They're trying to make the stone, I think, go faster. But what I just learned this Olympics is that they have like pellets of ice on the ice. I just learned that. I read it. I was reading something because I was.
So are they sweeping the pellets
they're
off?
sweeping the pellets to like give it a path, I guess, to go to.
So it's a
shuffleboard. It's shuffleboard.
I think you like do it a certain way, and it makes it go faster. A little bit makes it a little slower, and I think they curve it left and right a little bit.
Yeah, so if you do it on the side,
you get it to
go like back toward the middle.
You better give us credit if ESPN gets the Olympics and you get the curling.
Next Olympic curling team right here.
Yeah, I mean, like I do consider when I watch the bobsled and luge now, even though I haven't done it in 25 years, whatever it was, 98 was the last. Well, I did the hockey in 98, so 94 was the last time I did the bobsled and luge, and. But I still consider myself an expert.
I believe it.
It takes to luge.
You look more like a skeleton guy. We're gonna get you on the one man.
You want to go skeletons head first.
I did the real luge, lying on your back,
steering with your feet.
Scary.
That was steering with your feet.
Which
was hard because you have to steer into the turns, right? And what they didn't tell me, they told me like stay flat on your back. Basically look straight up, because if you come up off the back of the sled, it's like a car with not enough weight in the back, and you start to fishtail on the ice. So you need to keep your back on the sled.
But how are you going to see the
corner?
Need
to steer into the turn. So if you're
memorize
the sky, you don't see the turn. So I'm crashing into the first turn. What they didn't tell me was the lugers have the course memorized.
Yeah.
And they are trained. Their necks are really strong. They tilt their head forward just a tiny little bit so they can see. But they don't want their head to sit up, because then it blocks the wind, and the wind hits them in the face and slows them down. That's why they want to be totally flat.
Yeah.
So they can just barely see. So I'm sitting up, laying back, fishtailing, crashing into the walls. And
like, don't screw this up. You're the last broadcaster left. We've lost 4 before you doing this.
They had a nice nickname for you when we got down. They said biggest loser.
You're the biggest loser. My sister said, I think it was TV Guide said you were the best luge announcer. I was like, I was the only luge announcer.
Yeah. All the other ones didn't make it down the track. They didn't make it down the track. They lost them.
The only one.
I made it down. Survive. But I was thinking when I did it, because I hadn't done the World Series yet. It was right before it was like the '92 Olympics.
Yeah, okay.
The '92 World Series that fall, and I just signed to do the World Series, and I remember thinking my obituary was going to be, he never made it to be the youngest guy to do the World Series, because he went flying off the luge run in Lake Placid, New York.
All right, so now to finish up here, I got a couple rapid fire questions, just quick answers.
All right.
Favorite stadium to call a game? Or arena?
Sport?
Yeah, stadium or arena.
This is going to be a total homer pick. Do you want to guess?
Fenway.
MSG.
Fenway.
I love MSG.
I
love the Rangers. I love the Rangers.
No, but they're terrible.
Fenway's the way, though.
In hockey, as much as I like MSG and all the history and everything, Montreal is the best.
Oh, okay.
I've been there. When I went up to school, I went to school in Plattsburgh. We used to went up there. Bell Center,
Have you been in the new one, though?
The Bell Center.
New one. relative. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Bell.
the Bell
Yeah.
Center. Yeah. That's
I
yeah.
think it's new and it's not.
How
that
old do
new.
you think I am? I wasn't in college at the Montreal Forum.
I think you told me you were born in 1981.
That make me almost 45. Yeah.
45, 44,
Yeah.
45.
44, but getting to 45. Now, I think you might have the same answer here for the next question. Worst press box in sports.
Like the worst booth that we do.
Yeah,
the game
like you
from?
walk in, it's either a terrible seat or it's just a
Well,
mess.
the
Tough
one
view.
we just did the
Bad view.
national championship radio call for ESPN Radio in Miami was this tiny little booth, like 30 yards behind the end zone.
Oh, really?
That Fernando Mendoza play you mentioned, where he ran, he got spun around, he went.
Yeah.
That was about 150 yards away from me.
Whoa.
And the booth was so small, the stats guy had to sit behind us. A lot of these
Those
hockey,
seats are too valuable.
Ole Miss is terrible. Ole Miss football, it's tiny. The sun hits you in the face the whole day. Like, you look like a jerk because you kind of have to wear sunglasses while you're doing the game, like you're hot shot. But a lot of these hockey booths are terrible. They're so high, so
right?
far
Yeah.
away. Yeah, we were in Washington yesterday. That's a high one. But those would be the Miami one was absolutely horrific.
Jack Buck or
But
Joe
people
Buck?
don't care. Just do the game.
Jack Buck or Joe Buck?
Ooh, what a great question.
Such a
Terrible
terrible person.
question, but a great
Terrible
question.
person.
And I have said this to Joe. Joe and I become really good friends. So, and I meant what I said at the beginning of this conversation about the crap that he gets. I think there's less of it now. I think as he's gone along, people appreciate he's a great broadcaster.
He's the voice of my generation in sports.
He's done more Super Bowls, more World Series than anybody. When you combine the two of them, that record will probably never be broken because I don't think anybody's ever going to do 24 World Series again. You know, he was fortunate that they stayed at Fox for all those years, so you can do it. You know, in my case, we had it for 2 years, and then CBS lost the rights. So the irony in all of this is I replaced Jack Buck on the baseball, which I thought was insane because
to set the record
was really my idol. Jack Buck was to me as great a play-by-play guy as there's been. You know, and we talked a lot during this conversation about nailing the moments. You know, he nailed it all the time. You know, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
And then Joe got to do the same call.
I don't believe what I just saw. You
No,
know,
that was the Dodgers announcer. I don't believe what I just saw. Kirk Gibson?
No, that was Jack Buck on the radio. Vince Scully did the TV.
Oh,
Vince Scully's a different one. Yes.
Look, I just did the Joe Carter thing with you.
Yeah.
I just gave the wrong guy credit. That wasn't. Oh man,
that's right. Now,
I just did it. I just did
it. Getting credit for Jack Buck's call.
I gave Vince Scully credit. Yeah, all these years. I can't believe.
And we'll see you
tomorrow night. That's a great call. It's a great call. Okay, good.
I cannot answer that because, you know, they are, to me, this is a cop-out answer, but they're equally great.
All right.
And Joe, to his credit, would say his dad was better than he was.
We'll put you down for Jack Buck. You know
what? I think Jack would be fine. Joe would be fine with that. Joe loves me. We've talked a lot about our dads. Our dads were friends. They actually worked together.
Okay.
And Joe's the best. He comes to my charity golf tournament up here in August, and he's just a really neat guy. He's a very good person. Which, it's a blessing to be.
I know the bracket just came out. Give us your final. Do you have them? Did you see them? Give us your final four. Or how good is
I don't pay that much attention to it because I haven't done college basketball since I went back to the NHL 5 years ago.
Okay.
I do watch it. You know, I thought Duke was clearly the best team the last month or so watching.
The injuries, though.
But they've had injuries. And they barely beat Virginia the other night. And I think they barely beat somebody else in the tournament. But they're all close. Like, right, Arizona barely won their conference.
Michigan is really good, but they just lost an hour ago.
Yeah, they lost right to Purdue.
Yeah, but Purdue was number 7 seed in that tournament.
I do think, though, transfer portal and NIL have separated it before. Like, and not that long ago, I think more teams had a realistic chance to get to the Final Four and win. Now I think some of the schools we mentioned, they spend so much money. They're so much better. I think there are fewer teams who can actually win.
Do you think it's going to be Florida Gulf Coast? We won't see that anymore?
I'm going to go with my adopted home state University, the Arizona Wildcats.
Okay.
There you go.
Have you seen any of St. John's? What do you think about them?
Yeah, really good. Of course, they lost by 1 million to UConn.
Yeah, but then they beat them by 20 last night.
Yeah, no, I think they're really good.
Yeah.
You think it's all
Rick's,
Pitino?
Rick's as great a college coach as has ever been.
Yeah, he's one of the best.
Yeah,
and who,
I mean, is you could make him John Wooden maybe was better.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, you could. It's an argument.
But I mean,
the best.
if you're listing the top 10 greatest college coaches of all time, he's one of them for sure.
It's like when you argue someone in the Hall of Fame, the other person thinks, I'm not saying they suck just because I'm not putting them in the Hall of Fame. I'm saying maybe he's not a Hall of Famer, whoever we're arguing.
Well, that's always a good thing on these shows. Somebody once said to me, if you have to think about it, they shouldn't be in the
That's
Hall of
what I say. I say that all the time. Maybe I said that to you. Maybe I saw you previously and I said that to you. Because I say that all the time.
Like, right, we would all say Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio. I mean, that's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
So then how far down do you go from them, right? Because if it's just guys that good, you're going to have 8 people in the Hall of Fame. 10 people in the Hall of Fame. So
yeah, you're right.
I think that's always the dilemma. And then when you bring the bar down a little bit, then it's okay. You put him in. Well, this guy's just as good as he is. So now you have to take him too. So
yeah, I think you just think about it. If you have to think about it, it's not a Hall of Fame.
There's very few times when I say, "Oh, that's a bunch of crap. That guy shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame." And I'm all for if it's close, put him in. It's life. Make the guy happy. Make his family happy.
Do you hate the Yankees?
Not at all. I did when I was a kid. But as you get older doing this, and we've talked a lot about this too, like it's the people part of it now that impact me. Like I said, Mike Sullivan, David Quinn are really good friends of mine, particularly Quinny, and Sully and I have become closer in recent years. And I want them to do well. They're on a little winning streak right now as we're talking. I think the Rangers have won 4 in a row. And I sent Quinny a text today, like, did you guys stop coaching?
No. Well, they waved the white flag 2 months ago when they decided when selling everybody off. How many of these letters is Drury going to get to write to the fans telling us, oh, we're going to try again? I mean, come on.
Someone said, like, 1 Stanley Cup in 86 years and 2
Yeah,
we're retooling letters in 8 years.
That's my favorite moment. My favorite sports moment of all time is Rangers '94 Rangers.
Well, the first retool they did very well. But to answer your question, the reason I don't feel that way about the Yankees, I think it was 2 years of ESPN baseball with Aaron Boone. Might have been only 1, but I think it was 2. And one of my favorite people I've ever met in my life. In sports, out of sports, I love Aaron Boone. He is a thoroughly decent, good. He's a great family guy. He's a man of faith. He's a wonderful friend. He's super smart. He's funny. I think he's a very good manager. I know a lot of the Yankee fans don't think that, and they're ready for somebody else.
Yeah, but until they get rid of him, and then they're going to hate. He's going to get a job in 2 seconds, and they're going to hate it. I say it all the time to Brett, though.
They've never had the best team. Like, they haven't won the World Series. Well, if anybody wants to make the argument they had the best team and they didn't win, then go ahead. I would not agree with that. I don't think in any of the years since he's been the manager, they've had them. Matter of fact, I think a lot of years they've had teams that are pretty flawed in a lot of ways and have managed to do pretty well despite some of the flaws. Yeah,
and I say to Brett all the time, these are the players that they're kids. Like, I'm not going to get an autograph for these are 20-year-old kids, the players.
Yeah.
I'm not starstruck about meeting some player that's a 20-year-old kid. It just is what it is.
But I like the Yankees. I cheer for the Yankees because of Aaron. I like Aaron Boone a lot.
Favorite broadcast partner
of all time?
Yep.
Oh, boy, that's another hard answer because I've been so lucky. I've worked with over 100 people in all these different sports, and I would say the easy answer is Bill Raftery. And I think anybody who ever worked with Bill Raftery would give the same answer. I've said many times, if you don't like Bill Raftery as a person, and I think most people really like him as a broadcaster too, but if you don't like Bill as a person, there's something wrong with you. He is just the nicest. He is as loved in our business as I would say probably more loved. I mean, I think, I don't know anybody who's as universally well loved, within our business as he is.
Well, listen. Congratulations again on the Sportscaster of the Year, and I appreciate you coming on, giving us a couple minutes. It's been great, a lot of fun. Next time I see you Next time, Brett said I should have asked you when I met you. He said you missed an opportunity. You should have asked him to come watch the game with him. I said maybe I could have called the second period or done the power play.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I don't know if you've told that story, but I just met you walking into Madison Square Garden a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And,
and then my cousin Jay took us together, and here we are.
You probably didn't believe it when you said, I'd love to have you on my podcast. I said, sure, I'll do it.
I actually did an impression.
Me, right?
I actually, on our show, I told the story, and I did an impression. I said, he said to me, he goes, I didn't even know you had a podcast. And my buddy said, he goes, you know, if you know Sean McDonough, that's a good impression.
There you go. Yeah. Imitation is a form of flattery, they say, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, but no, I'm glad we did this, and continued success to you guys. I love your passion for sports and your passion for doing this, and I wish you continued success.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks again for coming on. Thank you.
Looking forward to your next call, buddy.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Well, how about that? Thank you. That was some great stuff. Thank you to Sean McDonough for coming on. He gave us an hour of his time. He's as busy as it gets. We understand that, and we appreciate him giving us just a little bit of time, let alone an hour. Told you some great stories. I mean, how good was that, right? That was fantastic. And we hope you liked it as much as we enjoyed talking to him and recording it for you. So, listen, again, thank you, Sean McDonough, for coming on Sportscaster of the Year. Simply put, he's one of the biggest voices in sports broadcasting. So, I mean, that's it. That's all you got to say. Everybody knows who he is, and if you don't know him by name, you know him by voice. So, and that says it all. Now, the brackets are out. Obviously, we're going to have something on the brackets. St. John's in that dangerous 5-12 game. It's always dangerous. Northern Iowa, they get. Looking ahead, you get maybe a second-round matchup against Kansas. It's going to be a tough road, but it's always a tough road in the NCAA tournament. It's never easy. It's never easy to win these games in advance. That's why they say survive in advance. No matter who you are, survive in advance. But St. John's, I think they'll be all right. I think they're going to make a little bit of a run here. I think they'll beat Kansas. And I think they get to the second weekend in the Sweet 16, but we'll go over that. I still have to fill my brackets out. They came out just before we spoke to Sean. So anyway, thank you again to Sean McDonough, and a big thank you to my cousin Jay for putting me in contact with Sean. Works at ESPN, and just a great job, Jay. Great assist on that, and that was a huge get for us. And like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave your comments down in the leave what you thought about the interview, what you thought about some of his stories, his answers down in the comments. We'll all discuss it, and that's it. So the brackets are out. We will have that for you probably tomorrow, and then it gets going. It's Thursday through Sunday. It's just basketball wall to wall. Then the smoke clears, and there's 16 teams left on Sunday. And you see how many you have standing left in your brackets, because it probably won't be many. I know mine won't be many, and I haven't even filled out my bracket yet. But that's the way it goes. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Every little bit helps. Hit that subscribe button on the channel here on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're watching. And don't forget to leave us a review. Tell us if you like the show. Tell us if you don't like the show. We just want to hear from you. So that does it for me. That does it for us. Again, thank you to Sean McDonough. Thank you to you, as always, for watching and listening. From the Brian Gunzel Studios, we'll see you next time, everybody. I'm Bob Walters. See ya.